sure you've all heard about at some point, but it comes up a lot and it's very, very important. So this is our prime numbers. All right, so I'm going to put the definition of a prime number up here. I'm going to be very specific about it. So prime number is a number that has exactly two factors, and those factors are 1 and itself. More than two factors is not a prime number, and there is only one number that has one factor, and that's not a prime number either, that's 1. So prime numbers are 2, 3, 5, 7. What about 9? Is 9 a prime number? 9 is not a prime number, right? So that's one that people will miss in a hurry sometimes. They'll think, oh, 9 is a prime number, but it's not. So 9 is not a prime number because it is 3 times 3. So 9 has a factor, 3, which is not 1, and it's not itself. So 9 is not a prime number. Other prime numbers are like 23 is a prime number, 31 is a prime number, but not you don't know that a number is a prime number sometimes just because it looks like it might be one. So for example, 51 is a very common misconceived prime number. So 51 is not a prime number because 3 goes into it. So 3 goes into 51 17 times. 3 times 17 equals 51. So you do have to be a little bit careful. There are certain numbers that look like they might be prime, but they're not. So the cool thing about a prime number is that you can't break it down anymore. So you see how I took 51 and I broke it down into 3 times 17. Well, what if I tried to do that with 23? So if I tried to say that 23 equals an integer 1 times integer 2, well, the only thing I can do is it's 23 times 1. That's a times sign there. 23 times 1. That's the only thing I can do. So that's why prime numbers are special. You can't break them down anymore. They're just 1 times themselves. So I heard one person describe prime numbers one time as the atoms of numbers because you can't break them down any further. I thought that was at least somewhat clever. Okay, so a prime number has exactly two factors. There are two prime numbers that are very important to remember. Sorry, one specifically, and that is 2. 2 is even and it's prime, and that's very special. 2 is the only even prime number. So there are certain questions on the GRE that will come up, and 2 will be the outlier. They might say something about can this number be prime? And the only way that it can be prime is if you utilize 2, because 2 is the only even prime. So always be aware that 2 is a prime number. Alternatively, 1 is not prime. And this is just by definition. So 1 is not a prime number. If you want to go back to the strict definition that I wrote at the top of the screen, 1 does not have 2 factors. 1 only has 1 factor. The only factor of 1 is 1. So 1 is not prime. All right, so 1 is not prime and 2 is the only even prime number.